Today I'm making this delicious loaf of applesauce quick bread. This one is moist and simple and full of the flavors of fall. Fall is definitely in the air, and I don't know about you, but it sure makes me want to bake. Now, today it has me wanting to make and eat this applesauce quick bread. This is such a simple recipe. It's slightly sweet, but it has all of those flavors of fall that sound so good right now. Apples and cinnamon and vanilla. This is just a really good recipe. So let's go ahead and get started on this yummy applesauce quick bread. I'm going to use my KitchenAid stand mixer today, but you can just as easily make this by hand. I'm going to start with 2 large eggs. I'm going to just put those right on into my stand mixer bowl. And to the eggs, we're going to add some sugar. I'm going to use 1/2 cup of this white granulated sugar, and I'm also going to use 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar. This makes it taste so good. Now, normally when I make quick breads, I'll make at least 2 loaves. Quick breads make such good gifts. So normally we'll eat one as a family and we'll give the other one away. It's also really great to freeze this bread. It freezes very well. But today I'm making 1 loaf just to show you how to make it. Try out this bread, and if you like it, next time make 2 loaves. Keep one and give the other one away. So down in the description, I'll leave the recipe for 1 loaf and for 2 loaves, and I'll also leave you the recipe in grams if you'd rather make it that way. So I'm gonna turn this on just to speed 1, just a low speed, and let it beat just for a minute or 2. I've let this beat for about 2 minutes, and this is looking good. After you've let your eggs and your sugars beat for just a couple minutes, then it's time to add some vanilla. I'm gonna use 1 teaspoon of this vanilla. This is some pure vanilla extract. Just add that right on in there. And to that, it's time to add our applesauce. Now, you can use any kind of applesauce that you want. This is just some cheap stuff that I got during a case lot sale, and it's been in my food storage, and it's time to use it up. You can also use cinnamon applesauce. You can use chunky applesauce. That's really good too. So use whatever you have. But for this recipe, I'm going to use 1.5 cups of this applesauce. After the applesauce, now it's time to add some butter. This is 1 stick or 1/2 cup of melted butter. I'm just going to add this right on into my mixing bowl. This is my really neat Lodge cast iron melting pot. I just put this on the stove and melted it. I love using this thing because I don't have any more explosions in my microwave. Okay, so 1 stick of butter or 1/2 cup melted right on into your mixing bowl with your other ingredients. Now I'm gonna go ahead and let this mix around just for 1 minute. Speed 1. After you let those ingredients get nice and mixed up, now it's time to add some flour. Now for this recipe, for quick breads, you wanna use all-purpose flour. You don't wanna use your bread flour, not self-rising flour. All-purpose or plain flour is all you need. So I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour into my mixing bowl with everything else. I usually take the bowl out of my stand mixer, and that's a little bit easier. I don't know why I didn't do that today, but 1.5 cups right on into the mixing bowl. Now after our flour, now it's time for some baking soda. Baking soda, not baking powder. So I'm gonna use 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. 1.5 teaspoons. After our baking soda, now it's time for some salt. I'm gonna use this Redmond's Ancient Fine Sea Salt. This is what I always use in my baking. I'm gonna use 1/2 teaspoon of this salt. Definitely don't pour it over your mixing bowl. 1/2 teaspoon right on in there with everything else. And next we're gonna add some cinnamon. This is gonna add a ton of flavor to this applesauce quick bread. I'm gonna use 1/2 teaspoon of this cinnamon. Okay, put that right on in there. Now it's time to let all of these ingredients mix together. I'm using the paddle attachment on my KitchenAid. You definitely want that. You don't want your bread hook. You don't really want your beaters. I like using this flat paddle. So I'm gonna let this just mix up just until combined. You don't wanna overmix this batter. I just let my mixer mix this up for about 30 seconds, just long enough for all of the ingredients to get incorporated together. Now you have some options. Do you want to leave this as a plain applesauce quick bread? This is a good, smooth, moist quick bread. Or do you want to add some inclusions to this bread? You can add walnuts, pecans, raisins, cranberries. I mean, you can add pretty much whatever you want to add. I would add about a half a cup to 1 cup per loaf that you make. So you get to decide what you want to add to your applesauce quick bread. Now, I'm going back and forth. I really love it with walnuts. I like to add 1 cup of walnuts to this bread. It really dresses it up, makes it a little bit fancier. My kids like it better without the walnuts. So I'm struggling what to do right now, but I think I'm gonna add the walnuts. So I'm gonna add 1 cup of these chopped walnuts right on into my mixing bowl. So now that I have 1 cup of walnuts in my mixing bowl, I'm just gonna let this mix up for 10 seconds, and then it'll be time to put this in the loaf pan and then throw it in the oven to bake. You just want to mix those walnuts or pecans or whatever you're adding to your applesauce quick bread just for about 15 seconds. This is what the batter looks like for my applesauce quick bread. This looks good, and let me just tell you, it smells incredible. It smells so good. It smells like fall. I love that. Now, it's time to throw this batter into a loaf pan and bake it. Now, I'm gonna use one of my very favorite 8.5 by 4.5 inch cast iron loaf pans. I do most of my bread baking in these loaf pans, and I love them. I love the cast iron. Now, when I make quick breads, I like to use these loaf liners. These are like big cupcake liners. They make cleanup just like that. It makes it so easy, so fast. So I definitely like using the liners. But you can definitely just oil up, grease up your loaf pan, and then your bread will just slide right on out. So now that I have my loaf pan liner in there, I'm just gonna pour this batter in. It smells so good. And I'm kind of wishing I had made 2 loaves. But when I share a recipe with y'all, I like for y'all to be able to make 1 loaf, and then if you like it, make 2 loaves the next time. And I know that y'all are gonna like this one, so give this one a try, make 1 loaf, and then next time make 2 loaves, keep 1 loaf, and give the other to your neighbor or to a friend. I know that they will appreciate that. Okay, so there it is. I just have it poured into my loaf pan. Now I'm gonna throw this in the oven. I have it preheated to 350 degrees, and I'm gonna let this bake for about 50 to 60 minutes. Mine usually takes about 55 minutes, but everybody's oven is a little bit different. So start checking it at about 50 minutes, do the toothpick test and see if it's ready. But plan on it being about 55 minutes to an hour. So I'm gonna throw this in there and I will show it to you when it's all ready. I just got our applesauce quick bread out of the oven. This baked for 55 minutes at 350 degrees. My home smells amazing. Smells so good. Y'all would not believe how good it smells in here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the toothpick test. If you don't know what the toothpick test is, you take a toothpick, you put it right down into the middle of your bread, way down deep, and then pull it out. And if it's nice and clean, then that means that it's cooked all the way through and you don't need to put it in for a few more minutes. Mine looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this cool off in the pan just for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll turn it out and we'll check out this loaf of bread. I've let my loaf of applesauce quick bread with walnuts sit in the loaf pan for about another 5 minutes. And now I'm gonna go ahead and turn it out from the loaf pan. That'll just give it a little bit of extra time to finish baking while it sits in the loaf pan, nice and warm. I love these loaf pan liners. They really help your breads just to slide right on out. And look at that. My loaf pan is clean and I can just put it away. Okay, this is still really, really, really warm. So I'm gonna let it sit here just for another 10 minutes and then I'll slice into it. I've given my applesauce quick bread a few more minutes to cool off and now I can handle it. So let's go ahead and just peel off this loaf pan liner. Oh, it just came off so easily. I really like the loaf pan liners. Okay, let's check out this beautiful loaf of quick bread. Oh, it looks so good. It almost looks like it got a little bit dark, but for my quick breads, I really like that. It's almost like the sugars caramelize a little bit. It just gives you a really good flavor. So this is looking great. I'm gonna go ahead and cut into this. Now it is still very warm, so it's gonna be a little bit crumbly. The longer you let it cool, the better. But who can resist quick bread? Warm, fresh from the oven, especially as the weather starts to change like it is right now. Oh, what a glorious loaf of bread. This is so good, and I'm so glad that I added the walnuts today. It wouldn't be nearly as good without the walnuts. I do like it plain, but the walnuts just add something special to it. It's more earthy, it's more like fall. Some pecans would be excellent too. So definitely give this recipe a try. Make 2 loaves. Go ahead and make 2 loaves right off the bat because I know you're gonna like it. Freeze one or give one to a neighbor. Oh, that is the thing to do. Look how good this looks. I always wish that I could give each of y'all a little bite of whatever I make because I know that if you could taste it, you would want to make it. I'm gonna leave the recipe down below, a recipe for 1 loaf, a recipe for 2 loaves. I'll leave it in cups and spoons and in grams. This is such a quick, easy bread to make. Give it a try. You could have it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Oh, and it will just put you in the mood for fall.
Robin's in the kitchen, dough beneath her hands, wheat from the fields and eggs from her land. Sunlight through the window, a warm golden glow. She's working hard to make that dough. With flour on her apron, loving each need, ground wheat fresh, sowing her seed. The smell of fresh bread rises.